Hello, my name's David Seaman, and this is the Three Lions Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Three Lions Podcast. My name is Russell Osborne and this is an independent England football supporters podcast. How are you? Hope you're good. Hope I find you well. Hope you enjoyed the recent episode that started this new year off, 2026. That was one where I spoke with Thomas Concannon from the Football Supporters Association. We spoke about the ticket situation for the forthcoming World Cup. Yeah, it's this year's World Cup. It's coming around. What are we? 5.5 months away, I reckon. It is, as always, still available at your podcast provider of choice or threelionspodcast.com. If you've not gotten around to hearing it just yet, it is there for you at your convenience. Once again, thanks to Thomas for his time there. On to this episode, and would you believe it? It's episode 400. 400 episodes of the Three Lions podcast. Wow. I took a look at last year. I put out 49 episodes in 2025. I think that was helped by the Lionesses winning the Euros in Switzerland. And hey, it would be great to have a run like that this summer. We shall see. But as always, if you'd like to contribute to the show or have an idea for it, please do get in touch. Drop me a line. There's plenty of ways of doing that. You can follow the show on social media. Just search Three Lions Podcast. Give it a follow or a like. It's there on the likes of Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, whatever your platform. Or you can email me direct. threelionspodcast@gmail.com. Now, the last episode, I mentioned that I was working on one where I would speak with fans of our three World Cup opponents, Croatia, Panama and Ghana. Now, I had this episode in mind before the draw was made. When was that? Was that 5th, 6th of December? And I started working on it shortly after the draw. I was putting some feelers out there. I was confident Croatia wouldn't be a problem. I thought Ghana wouldn't be too hard, but I have to say I had my concerns about finding a Panamanian. As it turned out, I was right about Croatia. Panama fell into my lap. But Ghana, despite hanging so many hooks out there, I just couldn't get a bite until now. So I'm glad to finally put this your way. I will say, when it comes to Habib from Ghana, you may want to listen twice. Now, I'll always appreciate people giving up their time for me to come onto the pod and for you as well. And I will always appreciate that English may not be their mother tongue, or in this case, accents and dialects. They can be a little hard to understand, but once you've got your ear tuned in, it's absolutely fine. So give it a little moment. But let's crack on. Coming up, I will be joined by Lovre from Croatia, Habib from Ghana, and Manny from Panama. They all know their countries better than I do. They all know their country's national football team better than I do. So hopefully they can educate me and you. So Croatia. The first thing that came to my mind was their Dalmatia coast and the country's red and white checks. It's a country that I have been to. I went, many years ago. I went to Split and Dubrovnik. Lovely country. It's a relatively new country in Europe who in June 1991 formed following the breakup of Yugoslavia. This was followed by the War of Independence for the following 4 years. Situated in the Balkans, it neighbours the likes of Slovenia, Hungary, Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, and Montenegro. It's a country of just under 4 million, with its capital, Zagreb. And with regards to its football, the Croatian Football League is the top division, formed back in 1992, comprised of 10 teams. Dynamo Zagreb are probably the team that you are most familiar with. They are by far and away the most successful, with 25 titles to their name. But the current holders of the league are HNK Rijeka, who won their second title recently. Now, the history versus England is played 11, won 6, drawn 2 and lost 3. Now, our only meeting at the World Cup was in the 2018 semi-final in Moscow, where we lost 2-1. We have played them twice in qualifying, back for the 2010 South Africa finals, where we won 4-1 in Zagreb, then 5-1 at Wembley. But Croatia got to the finals this year through topping their UEFA group ahead of the Czech Republic, the Faroe Islands, Montenegro and Gibraltar. The only points dropped were away to the Czechs in a goalless draw. So first up at the World Cup this year will be Croatia. We face them in Dallas at the AT&T Stadium. Delighted to welcome back to the show Lovre Nikolats, who joins us direct from Croatia. Lovre, you all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thank you. Thank you for having me back on after 5 years now.
Yeah,
actually, 4.5 actually now.
Well, let's go back to that. It was Euro 2020, 2021, wasn't it? That opening game at Wembley.
Yeah, it wasn't a good one. We've seen better days against England.
Well, yeah. I guess we can point to one of those as well, can't we? Just get it out of the way. World Cup in 2018. You still living off of that, are you?
I mean, we should, but we had a second run that was good as well, beating Brazil and getting third place against Morocco.
Of course, yeah. Team that are doing particularly well at the moment, Morocco.
Yeah.
Well, we're not here to speak about Brazil. We're not here to speak about Morocco. England, Croatia at the World Cup. What were the thoughts when the balls dropped out there and you got England again?
I mean, right now, like this year, we beat France in the first leg of the Nations League in the quarterfinals. We lost on penalties in the second one. Shock. But obviously our penalty luck only works in the World Cups. But when you see England, it's... I mean, at this point, I can count to us to like get a result against anybody if we're on our day. So right now we're just... I'm happy our first game is against England and not our second or third one, because in the first one, I think both of us will still be feeling each other out and not take too many risks because it is the first game. Kind of similar to the Euro one 4 years ago, where the game wasn't really, something great to watch.
No.
But at that, when I saw us pull England, when I saw us skip the free host, I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be tougher. So, So, I mean, if anybody give us England, I guess, because at this point, it's... we've already drawn each other in many tournaments in the last few years, so just continue it, I guess.
Yeah, because you just missed out, from what I can gather, you just missed out on being a pot one team, weren't you? Because you're pretty much the top second pot team.
Yeah, we missed out because we drew to Czechia. So we only drew one game and won every other one in our group.
That's right.
And that draw to Czechia cost us of a pot one team. Or we also had a chance if Germany didn't go through immediately. We needed Slovakia to win that group, but obviously that didn't happen.
Gotcha. Which is why I think we can't take, as an England fan, you can't take Croatia lightly. I mean, we know that anyway, but the fact that you just missed out on that pot one status.
Yeah.
The constant chat is Croatia are an ageing team, is what people say to me. But I'm like, well, if that was the case, you wouldn't be just outside of that. I don't want to keep going back to that pot one, pot two status.
Yeah.
But if that was the case, then you wouldn't be there. You're obviously managing this transition, I guess, from 2018 to now. And it's being managed. People are obviously looking at Modric, aren't they? And taking the aging thing from him.
I mean, he's not the only one. You have Perisic, who's also right now at PSV Eindhoven, and he's doing phenomenally at 35, 36.
Yeah.
Somewhere around the ballpark. Kramaric is 33, going on 34. We have many older guys, but the rest of the squad, you have some youngsters coming in. We obviously have Guardiol, we have Lukas Sucic, we have some high-NL names like Petar Sucic that's right now at Inter. We have Paturina, who's at Como now, really getting playing time. But as soon as Nico Paz gets out, I have a feeling Paturina is going to get the step in. But we also have Luka Vušković, who, if you haven't heard about, search him up.
Go on, tell us about him before we search him up. What are we looking for? What's he going to stand out?
So obviously signed for Tottenham 2-3 years ago. I don't know exact time, but signed for them at 16. Was on loan. So everywhere he played, he's been phenomenal. First came through Hajduk Split's academy. Everybody here, as a fan of Hajduk, we had major issues at the start of 2022. I think that's when he turned 16.
Right.
We had major issues with our injuries as center backs. And everybody was waiting for his birthday. Because as soon as he turns 16, he can play. And since about the age of 14, everybody that, if you were a football fan in Croatia, you knew about Vušković when he was 14, 15. He came in, first game lost against Dinamo 4-0, but he had an okay game, which is crazy to say for a center back that played in a 4-0 loss. Very next game, he scores his first goal.
Oh, wow.
Center back, and this is a center back that we're talking about that has scored a bicycle kick, a scorpion kick, a long range effort, and just in general is very good in the air and has scored many headers from corners or free kicks. So obviously the latest goal is for Hamburg, for HSV. He's right now there on loan from Tottenham. Scored a scorpion kick. Absolutely mad. Like, to even have the instinct to do that as a center back. Jesus. Scored a bicycle kick last season at Westerlo. And right now, from what I can read and hear from England, Tottenham is really happy with him. Because he's been one of the best aerial performers in the top 5 leagues. And he's going to turn 19 just now, I think.
Has he been selected for the national team?
Yeah, he's played 2 games.
Right.
He's played 2 games. In this last break, he played against the Faroe Islands, and I mean, it's the Faroe Islands, so he did an okay job.
Yeah. So he's one to look out for.
Oh, absolutely.
So you're obviously confident of getting through the group.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta get 4 points, which if we can't do that, then pack it up.
So who's in charge of the national team at the moment?
Zlatko Dalic still hasn't changed.
Okay, and people are still obviously qualifying for the World Cup. People are still happy with him there.
I mean, really, the discourse is some people think it's time for a change, and it's been like that since we got knocked out in Euro 2020. And then we obviously had Qatar, and then after that we got grouped in the group with Spain, Italy, and Albania, which Jesus, what a disastrous Euros for us. We conceded a last-minute equalizer against Albania and a last-minute equalizer to knock us out by Italy after losing to Spain 3-0. I mean, right now we're coming off of our best qualifying since I can't remember when. I think it's our best qualifying ever because we won 7 out of 8 games and drew the 8th one. So Dalic right now, the majority right now is in his favor because obviously great qualifying. We did good in the Nations League, got knocked out in the quarterfinals against France, and we're talking about France here who made a comeback in the second leg. So right now everybody's for him, but as soon as a bad result happens, if you lose against England the opening game, you just know that the heads are gonna turn on him.
Gotcha. Go on, let's talk Luka Modric. I mean, obviously we know what he done at Tottenham. We know what he done at Real Madrid. He's now doing exactly the same at AC Milan, isn't he?
Yeah, at 40.
Yeah. It's phenomenal talent. He's just looked after himself. I mean, at that age, should he be in the same bracket as Ronaldo? Because arguably he's doing it still in a European league.
He's doing it in the Serie A. Ronaldo is in Saudi Arabia. Because I mean, Marcelo Brozovic went to Saudi Arabia, same club, Al Nassr, before the last Euros 2 years ago, and he was way off the pace.
Right.
You just saw that it wasn't the Brozovic that we saw in 2018, that we saw prior. It just wasn't the same Brozovic. I wouldn't call him the main reason why we got grouped, but he was a pretty big part as to why we couldn't really play the kind of game that we used to. Even though he still had some of that spark, but he lost it in the tournament, and since then has retired on 199 caps.
Wow.
And if you know Brozovic, that's Brozovic. He's not one to do something for attention. He's just 199. That's his number, like just off 200.
Yeah. So how many caps is Modric on? Then do you know?
So he's 196, I think.
Really? So
or 195. So he's a few friendlies off. Oh, wait, let me check. 194.
194. So I mean the World Cup. He could 200.
So yeah. So what? We have 2 friendlies in March and 2 more friendlies in June before the World Cup, and then if it all works out, the game against Panama should be his 200th.
Wow,
if he plays in all the friendlies,
yeah, absolutely phenomenal. I know we spoke, or you kindly sent us a message for the recent episode where we spoke about tickets for the World Cup. Well, just remind us what the feeling is there, and do you know many people that are going?
You want to know my luck? I sent that in, and the very next day, a spokesperson from the HNS said they're selling these tickets like mini Super Bowls.
Right.
So, obviously, the spokesperson has let us know the feeling from the FA, which is also not really happy. But obviously, they can't do much, I think, because the prices are set in stone and many have been already sold.
Yeah.
And FIFA tried to do something with, the 10%?
Yes.
What's the price, like $60?
$60 for as you say, 10%. It's such a minimal
of a country's allocation.
Yes.
It's not of the full stadium. It's of country's allocation. So it's a couple hundred tickets at most.
Yeah.
Which is still, that means that 90% of the stadium is still paying crazy prices.
Top dollar. Really, is what they're paying. Yeah. So
Jesus.
do you know, I'm guessing there's a Croatian community in the States, and are all Croatia's games in the States?
One is in Toronto, but but in that area where we're playing, we like Dallas, not so much, but Philadelphia, Toronto. If we go to LA, that would be perfect. If we go to the West Coast, that would be very good for us because we have a large community there. We have a huge diaspora who's just in the States, so I have a feeling that a lot of people inside the States will come to Toronto, Philadelphia, Dallas for our group games, which is because we're all very proud, and I know a few Americans who are Croats, and they're obviously looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, I think that is the way it's going to be. We're going to see stadiums. I think they will be full, and they will be of fans, but they're going to be a lot of expat communities, I think.
I mean, yeah, but I'm really wondering how the stadium is going to look and sound like.
Yeah, well, we shall have to wait and see. Maybe nearer the time we can catch up and see what the feeling is then.
Yeah, we will.
So it's a lot of the national team. What's the sort of split between home playing in the National League and playing abroad?
It's obviously like 90% abroad, but the guys that are in the league are very good. Or there's obviously players that I'm counting towards the high NL because they've just moved to like Inter, Como, and other clubs. So obviously those players are still very good. But right now, who do we have? We have Fruk. He's the main one.
Yeah.
We have Ivosic, third choice goalkeeper, but can you really count him? He's there for morale, really. And we currently have Jakosic, who Dalic has said that he might join up with the national team soon, because this season he's playing for Slaven Belupo, not a really well-known team from if you're outside Croatia. But Adriano Jakosic is one of our top prospects.
Right.
He's been dominating this season. He's also left-footed, attacking midfielder. Technical ability is through the roof.
It's going to be an interesting game. As I say, it's the opening game for both sides in Group L in Dallas. It's 4 p.m. local time, 9 p.m. UK, which I think would then be 10 p.m.
Yeah, 10 p.m.
Croatia.
So our games are 10 p.m., 1 a.m., and 11 p.m. I think.
It's painful, really, isn't it? You have to be
you got to be a night owl, and I'm gonna have exams when the tournament starts, which is gonna be fun. Gotta prioritize somehow.
Well, I wish you all the best with that.
Oh, I'll need it.
Yeah, Lovre, thank you very much for your time. You can find you're over on Twitter, aren't you? Go on, just plug that for us.
So my last account got suspended. Thank you, Twitter and Croatian media rights, which it's a long story, but anyways, you can find me on Croatia_30 now.
Excellent. It's well worth a follow, that one. Lovre, thanks for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Ghana. First thing that comes to mind, chocolate. And that's close to my heart, I have to say. Ghana is one of the world's biggest producers of chocolate. And gold is also one of its key exports. Located in West Africa. To the west, it borders the Ivory Coast. To the north, Burkina Faso. And to the east, Togo. And the Atlantic is its southern coast. Now, it has a population of about 32 million, with just under 3 million in its capital, Accra. Did you know that Ghana is one of the world's most popular volunteering destinations? But onto the football. Ghana's Premier League is the top flight there. Now, its current incarnation formed in 1958. It currently has 18 clubs, the most successful being Asante Kotoko, nicknamed the Porcupine Warriors. They're based in Kumasi, Ghana's second largest city. Now, the current holders of the title are the Bibiani Gold Stars from the Western North region. This was their first title. Now, the national team are known as the Black Stars because the name comes from the black 5-pointed star on their national flag, which symbolises African freedom and pride, inspired by Marcus Garvey's Black Star Line Shipping Company and adopted by Ghana's first president. And the nickname signifies a guiding light for African liberation, making the team a symbol of hope and black identity. This will be Ghana's fourth World Cup after reaching it for the first time back in 2006. They then made it to 2010 and 2014. Now, to get to the World Cup this year, they topped their group ahead of Madagascar, Mali, Comoros, Central African Republic and Chad. Now, England's second game of the World Cup tournament takes place in Boston at the Gillette Stadium. Our opponents will be from Africa, and they come in the form of Ghana, a team we've only met once before. That was a friendly at Wembley back in 2011. And that was a 1-1 draw. Here to tell us a little bit more about the team is Habib Mohammed, a sports journalist with Ghanaian TV station Fakey TV. Habib, hello.
Yes, my brother.
Are you well?
Yes, I'm doing very fine. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. You're in Ghana. Whereabouts in Ghana are you?
Yes, I'm in the second largest city in Ghana, Kumasi.
Okay, we're here to talk about the World Cup, Ghana's fourth World Cup. What are your thoughts on the World Cup and playing England and playing Croatia and Panama?
First of all, let me say a special thank you for the opportunity given. And I do really appreciate that. And to your question, I think that is a great feeling when the draw was conducted in some few days or weeks ago in America. Most Ghanaians were anticipating and waiting to see which countries are we going to be drawn against. And a lot of us who are in the sports industry were hoping and thinking that we would definitely play a World Cup winning country. Reason being that if you follow the Black Stars very well and you know the history of the Black Stars, you know that all the previous four World Cup that the national team has been to in each of the four tournaments, we've always had a winning team or a World Cup winning country in our group. So definitely we were anticipating that we might get a country who has won the tournament before. And lo and behold, after the draw was conducted, we find ourselves that we are playing against, as a matter of fact, our colonial masters, which happens to be the English national team. And we know England has won the tournament before, but it's been ages. Each and every time we keep hearing it's coming home, it's coming home. It has never been home. Maybe we pray and hope that one day it will come home. But Ghana believe that this is our year. We'll win it this year. So maybe you, the English people, will have to wait for next edition. But that was just by the way. So when we saw that Ghana is in a group and the group comprises with countries like Croatia, Panama, and then the English national team, we were thrilled. To be very honest with you, my brother, we were very thrilled team up against. And when you are going to major tournament like the Mondial, you always pray and hope that your country gets a favorable draw. But when you are in a group with a nation like England, consistently who have been very, very good in the last 3 or 4 major tournaments, being the Euros or the World Cup that they've been at, clearly tells that it's going to be a tougher opposition. When you look at Croatia, on the other hand, who has also played the finals and then even the semi-finals in the last 2 editions, also tells you the quality we are meeting. Probably you will look at Panama as the minnows in the group, but in the world ranking, Ghana is being placed lowest as compared to the Panama national team. So on paper, we look like the underdogs, but we believe in the quality that we have. And we think that we are capable of coming into the World Cup and prove our powers to the entire world that, yes, we are still the Black Stars of Africa and we can deliver. So to the English national team, when we saw the draw that we're playing against our colonial masters, we're very happy. One, when you look at the relationship that exists between the two nations for ages, clearly tells you that Ghana have a very good relationship with the English national team or even England as a nation. So we believe that when you are playing against your colonial masters and you're playing against country that you have cordial relationship with, it comes with a lot of things, especially when now that most of our players are playing their trade in Europe and most of them are doing so in the English Premier League and in the Championship and other stuff. We think that it gives us a very fair idea of what the English national team present and how we'll be able to map up a strategy to come up against the Three Lions and we'll be able to deliver. So it has been a good euphoria since the draw was conducted. And I think that the nation as a whole, we are well prepared. We are ready. Even if FIFA said the game should be played tomorrow, I think that Ghana is ever ready to play against the English national team.
To get to the World Cup, you finished top of your group. You beat Madagascar, Mali, Comoros, Central African Republic, and Chad.
Yes, right. So.
You won 8, drew 1, and lost 1. So the feelings must have been positive to get there, to get to the World Cup following that, yes?
Yes, of course.
But at the moment, we're talking as AFCON is taking place. Yes. Ghana's not there. What has happened?
Yes, so when you come to Ghana at the moment, there's a mix of feeling, just like you really mentioned. The AFCON is ongoing. There are people who think that football currently is going through some processes that are not smooth for us, especially when it comes to the continent that we belong to. It's been ages since the Black Stars won the African Cup of Nations, and a lot of Ghanaians want to see the national team win the AFCON again, but it's been unfortunate. The last 4 or 5 editions of the AFCON has not been better for the Black Stars of Ghana. Unfortunately, this time around, we do not even qualify. And there are people who believe that in terms of administration, the people running the affairs of the Football Association are not doing so well to put the Black Stars on the African map to be able to compete and compete very well. But after the Black Stars did not do so well at the AFCON, they just ended one that happened in 2024 at Ivory Coast. The FA took a decision to change the affairs of the technical team. Then time it was managed by Chris Hughton. I know you know Chris Hughton very well, former manager for Brighton Hove Albion. So the FA took a decision to let him step aside, and they bring in Otoado, who has been with the Black Stars at the World Cup 2022. He came in, unfortunately, that time Chris Hughton has already played some of the qualifying games that the position of the national team wasn't to place, and Otoado came in. He was not also able to add up a lot of good results or good performances into the already points that we accumulated. So we were not able to qualify. But qualifying to the World Cup is something I think that the Football Association and the national team has used that to at least say sorry to the masses, to Ghanaians, tell them that yes, we believe we've disappointed you guys. We did not qualify you guys to the African Cup of Nations, but at least we have the World Cup here. We'll go there and do very well. So it's the last time we saw an African Cup of Nations without the Black Stars of Ghana was way back 20 years ago. Wow. So if there is an ongoing AFCON and Ghana is not participating, clearly tells you that things are not right. But I'm speaking to a lot of people within the top hierarchies of the Football Association. They'll tell you that, look, we believe that sometimes in every administration there are lapses, or in every year there is a setback, and Ghana thinks that this setback is a wake-up call.
So you mentioned the new manager, Otto Addo. Are people happy now with him instead of Chris Hughton?
When you compare the two, I would say Ghanaians are okay with Otto Addo ahead of Chris Hughton, basically because Otto Addo inherited the Black Stars that at a point in time people thought we will not be able to qualify for the 2022 World Cup. When we had that 2 games to play against the Super Green Eagles of Nigeria in 2022 before we qualified for the World Cup, how he was able to handle them at the Kumasi Babayara Sports Stadium to that famous 0-0 draw, and then the return encounter in Masud Abiola in Nigeria with Thomas Partey's fine strike in the first half before the Nigerians got the equalizer later part in the game, 1-1, but based on and away go, Ghana qualify. And what he did at the World Cup, though Ghana did not qualify from the group stage, but people were a bit satisfied based on the performance that he gave. That was the reason when the FA decided that in bringing him back, most people do question the decision of bringing him back, but they think that what he did before leaving, if given the opportunity, he will be able to do well. He came, unfortunately, he did not qualify for the AFCON, but for the World Cup qualified, just like you gave the stars and the data rightly. So if you play about 8 matches as a manager and you did not lose a single game, when he came, Ghana had already lost a game in our qualifying. That was our first game that we lost against Central African Republic. But Otto Addo came, and the last 8 games that he played, he drew just a game, away game against Chad, and then all the other matches move home and away, even traveling all the way to beat Mali at their famous ground. Ghana, people think that, okay, the man has done well, let's support him. But the playing body, the players understand his philosophy, the ideas he's impacting, the system that he's putting in place. The players are now used to that. We are just 6 months away or 5 months away from the Mondial. If you decide to go in for a different manager, that person will also need time before his system gets used to the player. And don't forget, my brother, as it stands now, the Black Stars are not in any major competition. There are no more qualifying matches where a new coach will be able to infuse his system or his ideology into the players. But they believe that Otto now have that bonding with the players. He has experience when it comes to the World Cup. And when you pick Otto Addo now and you pick the coach for the English national team, that's Thomas Tuchel. In terms of class, in terms of pedigree, standard, and everything, Otto Addo does not come anywhere near Thomas Tuchel. But in terms of World Cup experience, Otto Addo have that ahead of Thomas Tuchel, because this is the first time Thomas Tuchel is managing a national team. But Otto Addo has managed the Black Stars to World Cup before in Qatar 2022. We were there with the Black Stars.
Well, there's the manager. Let's talk about some of the players. Obviously, there are some familiar to England fans as they play in the Premier League. Previously, we had Thomas Partey, previously at Arsenal, now at Villarreal. But in the Premier League at the moment, and doing really well and being spoken about maybe moving in the transfer window is Antonio Semenyo at Bournemouth.
Yes.
What sort of player is he?
Well, Anton Semenyo is a top quality player, a player who has been described as a quality player, but managers like Pep Guardiola tells you what he brings on board. We've watched him excel in the Premier League for Bournemouth in last season, and this season the numbers, both goals and assists, speaks volume for him. When I look at the EPL, the goal king chart, and I see Erling Haaland and I see the next player, Anton Semenyo, as a Ghanaian, I feel very proud. But we Ghanaians are not too happy when it comes to Anton Semenyo in Black Stars jersey. We think that the kind of performance he exhibits when he's playing for FC Bournemouth in the English Premier League, when he dons the Black Stars jersey, it's a different Anton Semenyo that we see. He is yet to give us a very fine performance in Black Stars jersey. So that is the worry of most Ghanaians. You see, there are players who do so well for club side, but when they come to national team, they find it extremely difficult to perform. But going to the World Cup, especially playing against the English national team, where we have Anton Semenyo playing against most of these players in the Premier League, we think that maybe, just maybe, he has not been fortunate, or the African weather has not been good to him, because he was not raised in Africa and did not feel that African football that much. Maybe that is the reason when he comes here, he finds it very difficult to perform. But at the World Cup, he's playing against these boys he's been meeting week in, week out. So we have that belief in him that, okay, let's pardon him for what he's not been able to do when he plays. So we are not too satisfied when it comes to the national team, but we have hopes and believe that at the World Cup, it's going to be a different story for Anton Semenyo.
Who else do you rate, or do Black Star fans rate as the player to look out for?
Obviously, Mohamed Kudus.
The Spurs.
Yes. He's called the star boy in Ghana. So, and star boy, not just by mere attribute, but I think that by performances. Since Mohamed Kudus walked into the Black Stars team from his days, he was playing for Ajax. He's been very fantastic. When he moved to West Ham United, he did very well. And then Tottenham too, though recently the goals and assists has not been coming as compared to last season. But anytime he wears the Black Stars jersey, you could see the zeal in him, that energy and the will to do something for the national team. So Ghanaians are rooting for Mo Kudus. We only pray that he will have an injury-free season, then the performance, his form will be back before we move into the World Cup. We have that strong belief. He's played only 2 tournaments for the Black Stars. That is the World Cup in Qatar and then Ivory Coast to the African Cup of Nations. And all those 2 tournaments, any game you see Mohamed Kudus in, you clearly could see that he is the star boy, he's the poster boy for the team. So we believe in him. We think that his quality will come to bear, and Ghana will benefit from that if he stays fit and then he gets his form and everything right. I think we can count on him. But there are hopes, and Ghanaians believe that maybe we are not going to win the tournament, but we should be able to excel past what we did at Qatar in 2022.
Let me take you back to 2010. That was the best achievement for Ghana at a World Cup. But what a way to remember it. Losing to Uruguay on penalties, but that came about after Luis Suarez handballed on the goal line.
Yes.
What?
Right.
I mean, that was the best time, but it was the worst time, surely.
Most definitely. Whenever you listen to Asamoah Gyan speak, Gyan will tell you that game redefined his career. He thinks that had Ghana qualified to the semi-finals, which would have been a record for Africa as a continent, the first ever African country to have qualified to the semi-finals before Morocco did that in Qatar last edition. That penalty may change everything in his career. I think that had he scored that penalty, maybe he could have gotten offers to play for the Chelseas, the Man United, the Barcelonas, or the Real Madrid, because at that time he was on fire. But unfortunately, the unfortunate incident happened, Ghana could not go past Uruguay, and we blew out from the competition. Sadly, we did very well at a point in time. The tournament on African soil, we got almost every African nation rooting for the Black Stars of Ghana. Then we were called the hope and the pride of Africa. But the sad incident happened where we missed that penalty, and on the penalty shootout, Jan Do, after missing in the 90th minutes, he was able to gather the confidence, come score from the penalty shootout. But the other players, John Mensah and the other players, could not go past the Uruguayan goalkeeper, and then Ghana go out of the tournament. So I must say that anytime that we talk about World Cup, when you talk about World Cup, that incident is always fresh in the minds or in the memories of every Ghanaian. But we think that that is football. Sometimes things like that happen. Good players, top world-class players miss penalty at crucial moment.
Habib, thank you so much for your time speaking to us from Ghana. Maybe when the game comes around nearer in the World Cup, we can talk again.
Most definitely. I really, really appreciate your time and the platform given.
And finally, Panama. First thing that comes to mind, well, for me, is the Panama Canal. That stretch of water measuring 51 miles and has 12 locks across the country. It's also known for its coffee too. For some of you, I reckon you may have said the Panama hat. I'll come back to that. Actually, Panama recently featured on the BBC's Celebrity Race Across the World. Looked a beautiful part of the world. It separates Costa Rica and Colombia. It basically links Central America to South America. In respect of its size, it's 29,157 square miles. It's just a touch smaller than Scotland in its land area. They speak Spanish, and they were the first country outside of the USA to sell Coca-Cola. Its capital, Panama City, is one of the most expensive cities on the planet. But it is one of the only places where you can see the sun rise over the Pacific and then set over the Atlantic on the same day. And with regards to their domestic football, the top flight is called Liga Panameña de Futbol. A league of 12 clubs founded in 1988, features 12 clubs. The most successful is Toro FC, who are the most recent champions, and they're based in Pedregal, which is an area of Panama City. Now, the 2026 finals will be their second appearance at the finals, after making their debut in those 2018 finals. Now, they got there after 2 rounds in the CONCACAF qualifying. Because all 3 hosts come from this region, there was only ever 3 direct spots available. Although there is still a chance of Jamaica and Suriname making it there through the intercontinental playoffs. Now, Panama entered at the second round phase, topping a group ahead of Nicaragua, Guyana, Montserrat and Belize. Then they moved on to the third round and topped a group of Suriname, Guatemala and El Salvador. That Panama hat I mentioned, that beautiful woven Panama hat, didn't actually come from Panama, actually originated from Ecuador. And with regards to their national team, they are known as the Canal Men, for obvious reasons, or the Red Tide, because of their red shirts. So, England's last group game in the 2026 World Cup will be against Panama. We meet Panama again. We'll play them at the MetLife Stadium in New Jersey. Let's get the lowdown on Panama. What do we know about them? Delighted to welcome to the show Manny Barasalo. We're speaking to you from Panama City. Hello there.
Hi, how's it going?
Very
thanks
well,
for having
thank
me on.
you. Yeah, no, you're more than welcome.
I'm glad to be on, and yeah, it's exciting times. Panama's going to the second World Cup, and for some reason we've drawn England again.
Well, let's start there. Let's go back to Russia 2018. What was it like then? As you say, the first World Cup.
It was pretty exciting, to be honest, because it was very disappointing in 2014 because we had a chance to make it to, I think, was the playoff in that game, and we were ahead in that game, pretty much in control.
Yeah.
And it basically fell apart in the last 2 minutes and into injury time, where famously Graham Susie headed a goal and knocked us out of the playoffs, and basically, a game that was under control at home, ended up being an upset because U.S. were already through, and they didn't put any other starters in. But the difference was, I think there were a lot of guys in the U.S. squad that were fighting for their positions in the World Cup, and they went all out, especially after some changes were made. So after the disappointment in 2014, which people were excited about because Brazil's pretty close.
Yeah.
Going to Russia was pretty good too. Came down to the last game as well, and took a little bit of praying because a lot of other things needed to happen. Nobody was expecting the U.S. to lose to Trinidad in Trinidad, but it happened, and that knocked them out completely out of the World Cup. And then there were some other results that helped us out there. So yeah, that first World Cup was quite an experience.
Obviously, the game that you will remember for many reasons, I'm sure, and a game obviously England fans will remember was when we met in, I think it was it Nizhny Novgorod
Yes.
in Russia.
Yes.
Ended 6-1 in England's favour, but there was the goal from Panama. Is it Felipe Baloy?
Yes. He was he was the captain. He'd been the captain for a long time, central defender, center back, and it'd been pretty much something that was pretty consistent in some of the qualifying games, where maybe we have problems up front trying to get a goal. It would be a center back that would come up from behind and push forward and get a goal. So pretty exciting. People celebrated the goal as if we were winning the game 1-0.
I was going to say, is he like classed as a hero? First goal in the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, he's obviously national team legend. I think he's gone into coaching. I think he's coaching one of the under 17 teams now.
Right.
So, everybody has obviously that in mind that he scored that first goal and everything that he'd done all the way up to going to the World Cup, but also he'd been one of the very first players to actually leave Panama and actually do well. And I think he played in Colombia, Brazil, and Mexico.
Okay.
So it was pretty good. It's that he's part of that generation of players where they started to move out of Panamanian local football and into Colombia, Costa Rica. He didn't quite make it to Europe. He wasn't one of those guys, but definitely paved the way because once they start going out, it kind of just opens the gates for everybody else. A little bit of a controversial figure. He's quite he's butted head with some of the press here and some of the things that he said, but yeah, he's pretty much well remembered for what he's done in his time in the national team.
So is that Panamanian football, like domestic football, are the players that represent the national team, are they more out of Panama now, playing away from Panama?
Yes, since 2018, I think most of the players do not play outside of Panama. You get the one or two players that get a chance to get called up and have some minutes, but once they do well and they get seen, they get snatched up and get sent somewhere else. I think one example of that is just we had a forward called Tomas Rodriguez, and he did quite well in the Gold Cup, which is our version of our continental football tournament. And now he's leaving Panama, going to Olympia, which is in Paraguay or Peru.
Okay.
But if he wasn't going there, he would be going to Costa Rica to Saprissa, which is one of the big clubs in Central America.
Right.
So it's kind of like that. Like whoever gets to that's in the local National Football League and gets to the national team immediately, that's their ticket out.
Yeah.
And now we have players all over the place.
I didn't do my research as to how or what happened for the 2022 World Cup for Qatar. What happened there? Why obviously didn't you qualify there?
I think a lot of it was, this time around it was looking kind of shaky, but the fact was that we weren't losing in Panama. And there was the same thing here, but what happened was that we had games under control that we should have won that we didn't. And we had an awful stretch. I think it was the last 3 or 4 games that basically it was one of those that, if you win one, you're in. And we ended up not winning any of them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's one of those that we should have had at least one of those wins. And, I mean, I know people talk about the competitive of CONCACAF and that, but it's tough going to Costa Rica. It's tough going to Honduras. It's tough going to those places and trying to compete just because, stadiums are small, but they're packed in and close, and it looks like the people are right on top of you, and they their presence gets felt in these matches. And a lot of the going from 2018 to 2022, that process, a lot of the guys left, and a lot of new guys stepped up. So we didn't have, that core of veterans to, help the new guys, because it was almost a completely different team. So
is this team now that has qualified for the America, Canada, Mexico World Cup, is that sort of the players that were trying to qualify for Qatar, they've like just moved up a little bit now and have just basically done the job that they should have done 4 years ago.
Yes, and a lot of them have stepped up and become leaders and within the team. We have a player called Alberto Carrasquilla, and he just got put into the position and stepped up brilliantly, and now he's the guy that commands the midfield for us. And he played a long time in Houston for MLS,
right? And
now he's gone to Mexico and Pumas, and he's doing quite well. People always hope that he made the jump from MLS into Europe, because the other players have gone to Europe and done well. We have Amir Murillo, which plays for Olympique Marseille, and he's done quite well there, and he starts almost every game. And then we have another player in Slovakia, which is also right back, and he's doing quite well over there. I think he scored a Champions League goal recently. Is it Champions League? Yeah. There's so many teams in Champions League now.
Well, yeah, it's not the case.
Yeah.
Well, the fact is, he's playing European competition football.
That is correct.
That's got to be only good for you guys going into the tournament.
Yeah, and I've been keeping up with what's been going on, and a lot of guys, after the qualification, they've just basically, exploded in their clubs. They, you can tell this guy wants a spot. Nobody wants to lose their place. So they're making their presence known. They're maintaining their levels, and which is good to see. And then you also have a couple of new names that are showing up that weren't part of the process that are now being talked about possibly being on the team. We have an 18-year-old that's playing for Botafogo.
Okay.
He debuted for Botafogo and scored 2 goals.
Wow.
So, and he'd been on with the under-17s for a year before he got called up to the, large team permanently. Got off of the contract, and now they're saying, well, this guy looks like he's probably going to be in.
Coming at a good time. Like if you come in unknown to a World Cup is always interesting. I mean, we can, from an England point of view, you look back at the likes of Michael Owen or someone like that. They just explode at a young age. It's just it's a shop window, really, isn't it? It's what they say.
Yeah, and a lot of it, that's kind of like what we hope. we hope that because we want more players out there. We have a situation where Panama is probably not big enough to sustain a league.
Yeah.
And most of the teams in the league are from Panama City, which it kind of makes it difficult for the league to market itself, because you have, out of all the potential people that supporters that you would have, you're dividing yourselves amongst the one place instead of spreading it out a little bit. So I mean, there's, I think, 7 or 8 teams in the city.
Wow,
in a league that's maybe 12 or 15. So yeah.
Interesting. Well, when the draw was made, you probably watched it, or you saw it. There's the teams were pulled out of the bags. Obviously, there's England, Croatia, and Ghana. What were your thoughts? What were your instant thoughts that you thought, can we get out of that?
Oh well, in Panama we have a bit of sense of humor about everything.
Yeah.
And the initial reaction was, what did we do to FIFA to get England again? So many other teams and so many other groups, and like, why England again? So it was tongue-in-cheek reactions about it, and people making jokes. But I mean, in one way, it's a tough group. In another, if they play like we know they can play, they can compete. I'm not saying they're going to go out and try and win or beat England, but we do have to take into consideration that best third places get through. Of
course, yeah.
So maybe not another 6-1, but try to manage that game that way and see what we can do against Croatia and Ghana.
I guess the fact that, well, England will be your last game, so you've got to be looking to, I don't know, trying to work out is it Croatia first or Ghana? I don't know who.
I think it's Croatia, Ghana.
Right.
And they're both in Toronto. Then we travel to New York for the England game. Yeah.
I mean, looking from the outside and not knowing a great deal about either nations, I'm guessing that you're probably looking at as Ghana as the team to try and get your points against.
Yeah, I mean, we understand. We've seen Ghana at the World Cup before, and they've surprised other nations. But understandably, if you look at where Ghana is in comparison, that they're not the same team anymore.
No.
So if there's a chance to try to do something, it's probably this version of Ghana that you want to try to do it against.
No.
But yeah, and I think not being known, Panama themselves is an advantage, because they came out afterwards and they talked to the managers, and they're like, well, what do you know about Panama? And they're like, well, I don't know much about Panama. I gotta do my research. And so it's basically all the other coaches' reaction. So yeah, gotcha. We'll have to see.
Yeah, no, we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, with the World Cup or the New York game being relatively close, I say relatively close to Panama. Obviously, Canada's a little bit further. Are you planning on going?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, the national airline, which flies direct to New York and Toronto, they've said that they're going to add more flights once the dates get closer, but they've been sold out. I think the day after, the flights were sold out. Yeah, basically. And I think for a lot of people, it was I think it was good that we had 2 games in one city, because you can not have to pay to stay in New York. You can kind of manage a little bit better in Canada.
Obviously, in England, there's been a lot of talk about the price of tickets and that side of things. Have you heard about that in Panama? Are people talking about that sort of thing?
Yes, because we went to the World Cup in 2018.
Yeah.
But the World Cup in Brazil being so close, so many Panamanians went to Brazil. So, that's still pretty fresh. And people are making the comparison saying, people used to have hospitality packages with tickets, and for 3 games, those were $800. Now you can maybe get 2 tickets for $800, and you still don't know where to stay. And so definitely people are noticing. When I got the draw, because I actually had tickets for with Russia, I just couldn't sort out my accommodation. That's why I didn't go.
Right.
I bought 3 tickets for $600, and this whole dynamic pricing. I don't know. I think maybe it's a little bit closer to what the NFL model is in the United States, and
Okay.
maybe the stadium owners were looking for something a little bit like that. You know, everybody likes to say, you know, it's the World Cup is Super Bowl a day for a month.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure somebody really wanted to cash in on that as well. So
there must be quite a Panamanian expat community, I guess, in Canada and in the States. Is there that'll like pick up tickets for your games there?
New York would probably, if you're looking for a Panamanian community in the States, it's New York.
Is it?
New York, yeah, New York would be. And I'm not sure about Canada. I know we had a lot of expats because a lot of people left in the late 80s. When we had dictatorship problems here, but I'm not sure where everybody ended up in the same place or kind of spread out or what the deal was. But I know that once people started going up and asking for asylum, Canada cut things off real quick. So not a lot of people got to go.
Okay,
so
sure.
I mean, some people got to go, but Canada kind of went, yeah, okay, maybe not. But there is a large community in New York, so I guess the expats in New York would be under a different category because they would have been able to get the ticket in the first round as residents of the United States or something like that.
Well, to round off, what would be a positive outcome for Panama? What would it be to qualify, to win a game, to I don't know? Tell me.
Well, I think the goal for this World Cup was to win a game.
Yeah.
So that's why there was a little bit of a shock when the groups came out, because that makes it that much more difficult. Because, you know, Panama, second World Cup, we're looking for getting a point, possibly getting a win. We haven't gotten a win yet. And that would, you know, could very well happen. And I think that's what people want. That's what we're looking for. There's been a build-up what Panama has accomplished. Unfortunately, a lot of what we've accomplished in Nations League and Gold Cup has just come up short.
Nice.
So we've gone to finals, we've gone to semifinals, and we haven't been able to put it through. And it would have been good to be able to say, oh, we've, you know, knocked that one of those off, and now we're going to the World Cup with a little bit more confidence in trying to get points and that type of thing.
Yeah.
But I think we can still get it. I think we could still, you know, go in there and get some points, get some meaningful performances. Hopefully get some of the guys out there and improve their situation professionally, which is what you want. And because the next World Cup qualifying, it's you know, Mexico and the US are back in it. So that makes it more difficult. Don't know how exactly they're gonna structure things. Usually they manage it so that those teams get buys all the way up to the second to last in the last round. So everybody else kind of, you know, which I think it's good, and it's to probably to the detriment of those teams, because they've sat out for 4 years while everybody's played tough games and you know, gotten better. And sometimes we, you know, it's you know, Panama has a thing where we play El Salvador, we play Guatemala, teams that we should be able to beat or compete with consistently, but then we kind of lower ourselves a little bit. But then when we play in the US against the US, we kind of raise our level a little bit, which is kind of what happened in the Copa America. We got that group with Uruguay and the United States, and everybody thought we were going to be the third team in there, and ended up knocking out the US and qualifying second. And I think something like that is what we want out of this World Cup, you know.
Manny, thank you very much. Really appreciated. Maybe we can catch up in about 6 months' time when that World Cup comes around and that game against England once again comes around.
Yeah, it'll be good. We'll have a little bit more clear picture of who's actually going to be there. I think there's going to be some important friendlies being played, and we'll see how the team's progressing. And yeah, it'll be a good chat.
No, thank you. Thank you for your time. All the best.
Hi, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much to all the guys there. Lovre from Croatia. You can find him on Twitter at Croatian_footy. Habib from Ghana. He's at Habib Mohammed 09. Habib Mohammed 09. And Manny from Panama at Nomad_AEE. Hopefully, come May or June, I'll be catching up with them again as the games approach. But once again, many thanks to all three of them. Hope you've enjoyed it. As always, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for your support on this 400th episode. Yeah, I know, I still can't believe it. I will be back with you with the 401st episode. That'll be fairly soon. I've got a couple of episodes in mind, but I'm hopping over to Morocco this weekend for AFCON, one of those competitions I've always wanted to tick off. So there may not be an episode next week, but there will be that 401st soon. But do keep an eye on the socials, as no doubt I'll pop a couple of photos up there from AFCON. So until then, please take care of yourselves. Cheers.